Hello, people. We are back. Act 2, the podcast, episode 283. We back for another 282. 282. I don't want to get ahead of myself. 282. We back for another episode of us. Your boy International Walt sitting next to the beautiful.
Your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
What else are you?
Your favorite wife.
What else?
An awesome woman.
What else?
A child of God.
What else?
An amazing auntie.
What else?
A great friend.
What else?
Your best friend.
What else?
A bumby. I don't even know what that means, but he always says that. I don't even know.
That was hilarious. A bun big, wow. That's like a little inside joke with us. Only I would get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start off with a laugh. Let's get right to the show. How are you?
I'm great. I am great.
How you be? How you doing?
Mentally, I'm probably like a 9.5. Feel good. No stress, no drama. Feel good. Finances are a 9. Thank God for his blessings, for his provision, for my husband, being the provider. Just extremely, extremely grateful. Work is great. Work this week was a 10. Work this week I felt really good. Work this week was good. And physically I feel great. I feel like a 10. Like nothing is bothering me, nothing is hurting. I feel good. So 9.5, 9, just because I always want to leave some room, and then 10. How are you? Got a little cough.
We did throat. I have a number on that. Pause. Mentally, I would say 9. Feel good in my head. Nothing heavy going on up there. So I feel good in my head. Finances, I would say 9. Leave some room for some growth. Appreciate God up there looking out for us.
Always.
My baby always praying for us and praying for me when I'm outside the house, and I feel like that shit matters and it works and it counts. So I want to acknowledge that. Work, I would say, work's a 10. Work is great. I ain't got no problems at work. Everybody's working, doing what they're supposed to be doing. Deadlines are being met. Things are happening. I'm about to start this Olympic-sized pool. I never did a pool before, so I want to see what that's like and with the stuff that the people do there. But they're ripping out all the pool tile and putting in new tile and a new color. Like when you put water in the pool and the bottom's blue. Well, this will be all new. So I can't wait to see how that process works itself out.
You should set up a time lapse.
I probably will record a good bit of it because I never saw it before, never saw it done. And if I come into a pool again in the future, I want to have some knowledge of it. And also on the side is a hot tub, but the hot tub is like the size of a living room.
Oh, wow.
And it's got jets in it and stuff
well,
like
because
that.
it's a medical facility, so I
it's
can
not
imagine.
Like a 2-person hot tub.
It ain't like
it's like a
just
15-person hot tub, a 20-person hot tub.
People gonna be using it for therapeutic purposes, so that makes sense.
And it's got jets and stuff all in it, so that's gonna get fixed and remodeled. There was a few old people asking me, when would the pool be up? And I'm like, September. But it's an indoor pool, so I think it's like a year-round thing. It's not like a summer thing.
Okay.
So they'll be able to use the pool. Physically, I feel good. Physically, I feel like a 10. I had hard workouts this week. Hard workouts this week. Went through them. Today, I came home and was sitting in my driveway for like 10 minutes just thinking, I do not want to work out today. Like, my body is killing me. I worked at work today. Because one of my guys was down, so I had to pick up the slack, but I did it. I went and did it anyway, so I feel good about myself, and physically I feel like a 10.
That's awesome. Wows and woes this week?
What happened? What I did? Wows and woes. I got no. My wow is always just living, just another week of good air, breath, working out, good vibes, living life. Yeah. 7 more days of memories, so I'm appreciative of that.
Absolutely.
Try to make a memory a day, so 7 more memories. It could be something simple, like a good dinner or something like that, but just taking it all in, and thankful that I'm here for another 7 days to sit here and talk shit with my best friend. Woes. One of my guys went down. That's all I could think about. One of my guys went down. He might have a small hernia or ulcer. It's on him to confirm. I want a doctor to confirm, but just went down. Blew a tire.
Why do men relate everything to like cars?
Cars, sports. Yeah. I was going to say boxing, but that's a sport. But yeah, cars, sports.
Yeah.
It's just easier to comprehend.
Okay.
Yeah. But he blew a tire, so we'll see.
I would think blowing the tire is like a leg, but
it kind of is when it's on. Yeah, it kind of is.
Okay.
He went down.
Okay. All right.
He went down. You? Wild Woes?
Oh.
Looking at me like I'm done.
Well, I was waiting for you to throw it to me.
Oh, okay. Wild Woes.
I don't have any woes.
Ups, downs, stops and goes, blacks and whites.
Yeah, I don't have any woes, like none that I, can think of. And again, I'm not gonna fabricate anything or like think too hard about nothing
Wouldn't
negative.
That be some shit you sitting here next to me fabricating a woe that I know ain't true?
Well, yeah,
like
that
some
would be
kind
crazy.
of shit that you making up, and I'm sitting
You
there
better
like,
check me.
When this happened?
Right? No, that would be crazy. But I'm also not gonna like think real hard about nothing negative. If it ain't at the top of or pop in my head, then it wasn't worth no energy. But I seriously like nothing, no woes. Wow. This might seem like small in nature, but it was awesome. My baby came home early from work earlier this week, and it was just good. Like, our schedules really align now, like with my work schedule and his work schedule. So when he gets home, normally, like, we have time to spend the afternoon together, work out if that's what we're going to do, or whatever we're going to do, run some errands, get some dinner together, watch a little TV. So, it works out. But he got home like 2 hours early, and it just felt so good. Like, we still did all the things we normally do, but we went to the gym earlier. It allowed us more time to just relax. It allowed us time to get to bed early and watch some TV and relax. And it was just it was just good. I mean, I know he got to work. I know he already gets up super early, and he gets home at a really good time. Like, he doesn't work a normal 9 to 5, but him getting home earlier, it just started, my week off really good. So that was my wow.
You know what she said to me? I wish you could come home early every day. So that means I would have to be to work at 4
instead of 5. Yeah.
Like, you would be up at 3 making lunch and breakfast.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt both of us. Like, we'll be evil to each other.
No, you would have to leave at 3.
You out your mind.
Yeah, so I would have to be up.
I would be so mad.
No, but babe, you were home 2 hours early. No. You was home at an hour early. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, that would be And you would have to be ready to go to bed, like TV out at 8:00. It ain't even dark at 8:00 in the summertime.
That's like no.
We would have to get
life.
Blackout curtains.
That's no type of life. That's eating. That's coming home at 1, eating dinner by 4:30, and being in bed sleep by 8. And every day
eating dinner by like 6. No, like 5, 6.
Yeah, because we eat dinner like 3-4 hours before we go to bed.
Yeah, so you like 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I feed you too early, you'll be hungry by the time it's time to go to sleep.
Eat a lot of bananas.
You'll be eating, so you'll be eating bananas on the side of the bed if you eat too early.
What you got? What's going on in your world?
My world has been pretty calm, pretty easy. Recently there was a story that was released about before we get to that, I want to talk about the good before the bad. Father's Day just passed. So happy Father's Day to you. Father's Day is one of them days for me. Like, I don't feel any emotion about it. And never, ever, ever any disrespect or dismissal of you. It's because, like, you're not my dad, you're not my baby dad. So I don't think about it in that sense of like it being like but so celebratory for us in our home. But I always want to acknowledge you for Father's Day because you are, you're a dad. You have a child. But it's one of those things, and it's so weird because I mean my relationship with my father, the lack of my relationship with my mother and father, the reasons completely different. But I don't feel that grief that I feel about the relationship with my mother. So Mother's Day, and then Mother's Day has a different connotation too with me not being a mom, but the heavier part of it is the relationship with my mom or lack of thereof. For Father's Day, I don't feel that, and which is crazy because I was raised with my dad, all my life till I was 18 or whatever, but it's just different. What does Father's Day mean to you?
This year was different because it's not like the expectation was there to like receive gifts or anything like that. But it just like I'll be 49 in August, so it just like all these years, and I've been a dad since I was 24.
22.
Whatever.
Okay.
20s, early 20s. You like miscorrection, like
well, because your daughter's 27.
But what I'm saying is, it was like nothing, and that's what it made me think. Like it was more of a, like, why is this a day? Like society doesn't care about fathers the way that they should, like especially black fathers. So, wives, girlfriends, kids, y'all don't care about Father's Day the way that Mother's Day is cared about. So it's just like and not to compare like moms to dads, but I think it's an equal thing. Like it's a parent and a parents. But the way that society celebrates Father's Day is ridiculous. And you didn't say Happy Father's Day to me when you first got up in the morning. It kind of like came later in the day, and again, I wasn't upset about it. And you explained, just like you just now explained, like how it's not a celebratory thing in our home, but it just made me think, like, what the hell am I waiting on? Like, what is supposed to happen today? Like, it just feels like it has to be a Father's Day because it's a Mother's Day.
Well,
and for me as a father, I'm not done, so let me land. But for me as a father, it just felt like it's just another day. It's just Sunday. Like my daughter texted me Happy Father's Day, and I was grateful for that and all, and that's cool. But it's just, it ain't the same. It's tough to see when it ain't the same as Mother's Day. And again, I'm not trying to say one is more important than the other, but the way that it's laid out, it just pales in comparison.
I mean, that's your feelings. I think if we had children, Father's Day in our home would be completely different. So I think that's a difference. Do
you think if we had relationships with our dads, Father's Day would be different in our home?
Absolutely.
Just like you said about if we had kids, like you think it would be exciting like that?
Like, yeah, if we had relationships with our dads and or had kids, like I think it would be, it would be a generational celebration. Like we might have our dads over, they celebrating them, celebrating you, the kids celebrating you. So I think our home is not a good reflection. Like I do agree that society, we know black fathers especially, but the importance that's placed on mothers, it far outweighs the importance that's placed on fathers. And I'm not saying that's how it should be. I'm just saying that's how it is. But I do know that, I've seen fathers being celebrated in a big way for Father's Day, like the reverence that was given to people who.
I see some clips. I see some stuff. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about people I know in real life. I ain't talking about celebrities.
I'm just saying I've seen some celebrations and some good dads out there. I'm not saying that there's none. I've seen some stuff where it was like, oh, that's touching. Like, you think like, damn, your pop must be good for you to say something like that.
Yeah, I'm talking about people I know in real life who either they're celebrating their husbands who are fathers to their kids, and or celebrating their dads. But again, I think our life is not a good depiction of that. Now, again, also your relationship with your daughter, unfortunately, is not in. It's not an inclusive relationship. Like, y'all have your relationship, we have our marriage. We're not a family. And that, it's unfortunate. I wish that things were different in that respect, because then maybe Father's Day would be different. Like, maybe she might be here, we might do something different that's like, a celebration of Father's Day, but that's just not our reality. But again, I don't and my thinking wasn't it literally just didn't register in my mind. Like, I kind of knew it was coming up, because you see the conversation on social media.
Barely.
But it just wasn't a thought in my mind, because again, I don't have a relationship with my dad. I don't have a baby dad. So it's it's one of them things where it's like, I don't have anything to celebrate in that respect, but I always, again, want to acknowledge the fact that you are a father.
Even the pageantry of it, like it's a bunch of videos of people walking in stores like, I'm here to buy my dad something, which you probably shouldn't do on Father's Day. Like, you probably should have got him something way before that, but no signs, no sales, no nothing, like no rollout. And it's just, that's how people think of men. Like, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do, and there's no celebration behind it. This just do what you do, and that's just it. And that and that, when you look at the days, if we're just talking about the days, that depicts that. That depicts that. Mothers are celebrated to the end of earth. No matter if your mother's bad, if your mother's good. On Mother's Day, you're supposed to celebrate your mom. That's just the thing, and everybody does it. But on Father's Day, it's like those who and I'm not saying it's none. Those who have dads and good dads, they're celebrated, black, white, or whatever. But just the levels of it, it's like, it's depressing to see. It's like, damn, like, what the fuck?
I mean, I wasn't in any stores.
And that's the first time like it hit like this year like that. And my dad, like, we never really, like, I haven't seen him in decades. So it's like, I'm so detached from, like, okay, it's Father's Day, or I think of him or something like that. Like, so we don't have a relationship at all. But again, besides all that stuff, like, it's just the way it feels as a man, as a dad. And I don't think you would probably get totally what I'm saying, because you're a female.
And I think I understand, but I think in this day and age, fathers are celebrated more than they've ever been. Like, just the acknowledgement of great dads. I wasn't in any stores, but I know in the supermarket they had like the I was looking for a graduation card, but they had a big selection of Father's Day cards. So, if nothing else. But I haven't been to like any stores where like Father's Day gifts would be purchased. But, I'm sorry that you felt that way. Like,
it's nothing to be sorry about.
No,
it's not like I feel sad or something. It's just like, you feel underwhelmed is a good, or just whelmed. Not under, not over. I'm just whelmed. So
is that a thing?
Being whelmed?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're overwhelmed or underwhelmed, you can be whelmed also.
Okay. I was just asking. I've never heard that word.
To be over or under? Why can't I just be whelmed?
I've never heard that word used I've never heard that used. So that's what I was asking.
Yeah,
like,
that's
that
the perfect. I just felt whelmed. I didn't feel underwhelmed. I didn't feel overwhelmed. It just felt whelmed. Like, ugh.
That just sounds so funny. I've never heard that. Whelmed. I'm whelmed. What are you?
Like, how you feeling? Like, about the situation? I feel whelmed. Like, not overwhelmed. And if you could be over, why can't you be not over?
Again,
and if you're not over, that means you got to be under.
I just have never heard that, so you taught me something.
Jesus Christ, man.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it felt. This was the first year it kind of felt like that. I wasn't down. I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. I wasn't even upset at you. it just was playing in my head, and it's like I want to say how I feel, and that's how I felt about the day. I was excited when my daughter texted me and was like Happy Pops Day and all that kind of stuff. So it was good to hear from her. Other people who love me, they text me. My sister texts me. I love when Erica texts me and tell me she loved me. So that was, always touching from her. But yeah, it's just like, yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, being an uncle to our kids, being a male role model in their life.
It's fun.
Yeah. Speaking of male role models in not such a good light, there was recently a story about
big story. Big
two pastors in North Philly who have been doing the things that it's so horrible that this is such a stereotype that a lot of males in religion that's placed on them, and they just give
it a stereotype though,
and they've just given truth to that stereotype. I think the stereotype is bigger than the reality. That's what I mean. Like really? I think so. I think so.
All right, so let's talk it out. The stereotype is that those certain age black male
are DL. That's
that's what I was about to say. Are DL. Hasn't there been more stories of that being true to where you can say, hey, that's not a myth anymore? That kind of is a thing?
I'm not saying it's a myth. I think the stereotype is larger than the reality. That's all I'm saying. Like, I think people think, or majority. And I don't think that's the truth at all.
Okay.
Like, I think, and I have friends who think that, like, men in the church are gay or on the DL. And I mean, I won't just go off my experience. I grew up in church and there were men on the DL, but that was not the majority. There were young men who, you thought was like that were eligible bachelors for women, and they were not interested in
25 years ago. So I'm just asking, could it be possible that 25 years later that number has tripled or quadrupled? More than doubled? But like, let's just say if back in your church and it's 25 years ago, you might have picked out 4 or 5 people that you would say they probably could be on the DL. Now, 25 years later, what if you could pick out 20 people?
But see, I think what has happened is I think people, one, feel more comfortable in coming out and just being gay. Mm-hmm. 2, unfortunately, a lot of young black, and I can only speak for young black men. I grew up in a black church. A lot of them aren't going to church, like it was, because we talked about this before. Parents, ain't making kids go to church. Mm-hmm. So that's why I just don't think it's like a majority situation that the stereotype lends to. But
right, but we ain't caping for these niggas though. So
no. I'm not caping for anybody at all. I don't remember them. One was Isaiah Banks and the other one was Brian Jackson. A church, again, there were 2 churches in North Philly. One of them, the Isaiah guy, he was basically grooming, or not necessarily grooming, but to me, this is how I visualize it. He, was a young guy in the church, young teenage boy, and he was too close to him. When they say he would send him pictures for food, my thing is he probably was sending them DoorDash money.
What did the news say he did?
He was requesting sexual pictures for money and food. But that's what I mean when they say food. He probably was like, I'm hungry, can you send me $20 for DoorDash or something like
boys,
that.
How old?
They only mentioned one, and I think the boy was 15.
Okay. At the time when he was, now he's 15 now, or at the time when he was?
I think at the time it was, but I don't know how long ago this was.
Okay.
I don't know if they found out and it happened last month. I don't even know yet how they found out. Like, did the boy tell somebody? Was parents checking the phone and seeing this? Because that could be a thing too. Let's say you got a 15-year-old son and you like, where you keep getting this DoorDash money from if you know you ain't giving your child? Because, I mean, when they say food, I can't, in this day and age.
That's how kids get food.
Exactly. So either he's sending him money for DoorDash or he's ordering DoorDash for him. But either way, just paint the picture. You're a parent, your child home. Let's say you at work and it's like, who had Chick-fil-A in the trash? Pastor such and such. That might fly one time, but it's
maybe even twice.
Yeah, but then it's like, why he keep sending you DoorDash money and blah blah blah, and then you check the phone, hopefully, like just to make sure that what's going on. I don't know if that's how this was discovered. It doesn't even matter. The fact that it was discovered is good, so that it can end. And then the other pastor was going online. Now he wasn't. He wasn't portraying himself as himself. He was portraying himself as a woman to get pictures of young boys. So again, if you online like, hey, my name is, Sharon Smith, what's up? I'm trying to, well, I mean, in this day and age, you probably wouldn't say that name, but I'm trying to holler or whatever the conversation is. Won't you send me some pics? Let me see what you're working with. He was presenting himself as a woman just to get these pictures of young boys. Disgusting.
It is disgusting. This is the, for all the people who go to church for the word of God, I'm not talking to you. But this is my discouragement from church, is that the people, and I've known this since I was a little kid with my nana, but not saying that, some shit like this was going on, but you know how the church folk, they go back to a certain house and drink and have fun and all that stuff and party. That's what my nana did. But for the people who go to church and prey on people and the offerings, like how in some churches that shit gets to be a little bit too much. People talk about they locking doors. All this ancillary shit other than the word of God is a discouragement for me in church. Like, to go there to hear the word is beautiful. I don't have any issues with that. But all that other stuff that is placed in that building, the people not being genuine, the people having agendas, the pastors with the DL stuff, the pastors with the touching of the kids, even in the Catholic churches with the priests. Like, what is it?
Even in mosque with the imams.
Like, in mosque with the imams. But what is it about that when it's like these people pick a profession that get close to God, and then this is the deviant shit that they want to do and be into, where you're so close to God. You're in his house that's supposed to be for community and to hear his word. When shit's down on life, you come there and you're supposed to, I feel good after I leave here. But certain people feel worse than they did when they walked in. Whether you got touched, whether you gave too much, whether a person said something smart to you, like whether you like whatever the situation is, you're discouraged when you leave there. And that's fucked up. And for all the good people who go to church and do the right thing, I ain't talking to you. Then keep doing what you're doing and God bless you. But for all the fucked up people who just go there and be in there on alternative shit, that shit's wrong. I
think what people sometimes forget is that church is just a microcosm of the world. And yes, you have these people who are in positions of power and they should be held to a different standard. Like, look who our damn president is. He should be held to a different standard. When you are a leader and in a position of power, you should act accordingly, especially when you're representing yourself as a man of the faith, whatever faith that is. I also think it's unfortunate that predators sometimes seek out those positions of power because they know they can use that as leverage. When you talk about the priests with the altar boys, when you talk about the choir directors with the people in the choir, when you talk about pastors with young men in the church, when you talk about, again, whether it's an imam or a rabbi with young boys in the church, whether it's a teacher in a school, people seek those positions of power over people because that gives them, again, that leverage or sort of that superiority where they can do these nefarious things. But again, church is a microcosm of the world. So unfortunately, you're going to get Just like in an office space, you're going to get the negative Nancys, you're going to get the Doubting Thomases, you're going to get the Happy Harrys, you're going to get the silly Susans, you're going to get all of those people, you're going to get the Sally with the smart mouth, you're going to get the girl over there, Robin, rolling her eyes. Like, and I'm not saying it's right, but just because people go to church or go to any religious institution doesn't mean that they're perfect, but it is a deterrent in those people who are seeking some sort of difference in life, especially if you are new to the faith. That can be a deterrent. But I'll tell you this, and I haven't even shared this with you because I was just kind of mulling it over in my head. Like the last, I'll say probably like 2 or 3 weeks, it wasn't anything like I've been thinking about for a long time. At this age in my life, I believe God wants us to believe in him. He wants us to spread his word. He wants us to study his word, but he also wants us to be in community with other believers. And I have been thinking about like wanting to go to church. And I'm not one of them people like we have some family members that go to like a really popular church. I am by no means one of them people that feel like you should have to drive an hour to church just because like it shouldn't be that way. When you live in a community, it shouldn't be difficult to find a good church. Like that's one of the things that I've always admired about regardless of what you think about their religious practices, but Jehovah's Witnesses and Muslims as well, I believe, and I think Jews, they go to like their Jewish local people. They're not Jews?
You can't say that.
Jewish people
yes.
aren't okay.
You can't say that. You can say Jewish people.
Okay. They go to their local Kingdom Hall for Jehovah's Witnesses, their local mosque for Muslims, their local temples for Jewish people. So like they not driving like, oh, I live in West Philly, but I want to go to the Kingdom Hall in Cherry Hill just because I like that one better. It's like they go because there's now I don't know about the temple and the mosque and all that, but I know like with Jehovah's Witnesses, whether you're a Jehovah's Witness in China or you're a Jehovah's Witness in Japan,
it's all the same,
and they're teaching the same lesson each week. So I say that to say for myself, I don't want to. I've been thinking about going to church, but there is a fear of what you're going to have to deal with on a people level. Like, what are the people going to be like? Are they going to be like trying to want me to join stuff? Are they going to be trying to ask me for money? Am I going to get bad vibes from people? And it's a shame that we have to think about that when it comes to church and spirituality. But it's the unfortunate truth.
And that's what I mean when we just
and I'm sorry. And this is, like I said, this is something like I believe in God 1,000% all my heart and soul, and I grew up going to church, and I have these feelings. So imagine somebody who's a new believer; they definitely afraid.
Right. There's just so many churches across America. There's hundreds of thousands of churches that millions of people go to. So it's not, for me, it's not like, I'm not saying it's every church, but it's enough of a sample size to be like, this happens a lot. And I don't know the number.
Say this, what?
The foolery, dealing with the people, the bad shit, the grouping, the cliques, the this, the that. You got to be into this, you got to be into that. Like, even for the churches where you get deep, where it's like you got to be dressed a certain way. It's like, man, you could just be. It could just be a good preacher here where I heard and he gives a good sermon, but I can't wear this to this church, or I can't wear that, or I gotta have on a skirt. Like, it's just all these things that, or it's 9 offerings when you go in there. Like, it's just all these things. And God forbid you go into a church that you see on one of these Instagram things where somebody's saying lock the doors. Like, that shit'll make you feel so uncomfortable. You'd be like, I'm getting out of here. Like, it's a shakedown. It's not even about the word of God for y'all. I came here for the word of God to see what the lesson was on Sunday morning. But look what y'all doing. Yeah. Look what y'all doing. And this shit here with the touching of the kids, the pornography, the it's gross as hell, man. It's gross as hell. It's nasty as hell. Dudes like this should have their skin fucking removed while they alive. I don't like it. And that's just that.
I also put some accountability on, and I'm not saying that people did, but I know one of the pastors was married. I don't know if both were, but one was married with kids. And I also think in churches, when things like this are going on, I feel like somebody has an inkling. You may not know for sure, but there's something uncomfortable that people may feel. And this might not be just in any environment. It might be a church, might be a school, but in this case, we're talking about church. And I put the accountability on people who don't say anything, like, Pastor, why, little JJ always in your office? Pastor, why, when you always picking up, like, there's things that people need to pay attention to that just may not sit right. And people need to stop putting people, spiritual leaders, like, on this pedestal. They're not God. They are man, and they're held to the same laws as man. And people need to. You got some people that look at their pastors like, oh, nobody can tell you nothing about pastor. But no, they're men. And they need to be checked and need to be held accountable. And people need not to, just like y'all shouldn't turn a blind eye to Uncle Sammy, who y'all lock upstairs because y'all know he might touch the kids. That's horrible. The same kind of attention needs to be given to a pastor, a deacon, a trustee, a choir director, whoever's in the church that y'all feel like questions need to be asked. Some oversight needs to be provided. But also, I want to remind people that these men should not be a reflection of God. They are just men. They are not the whole body of church. They are not the whole body of church. Yes, bad things happen in church. Like I said, bad things happen in offices. If you work in a hospital, there's drama. Anywhere there is a gathering of people and personalities, you always going to have some. And again, it would be nice if it didn't happen in a place that you're supposed to be going to feel uplifted. But people are human.
Just playing devil's advocate where somebody that could come off like you sound like you talking out the side of your mouth is... the head of it is doing this fuck shit. Like, it would be different if a deacon... Let me finish. It would be different if a deacon was doing some shit and it'd be like, okay, that's not the whole of the church. Cool. I get what you're trying to say. Like, there's other stuff going on there besides this man. But he is the man that everybody is paying attention to. He is the man who's making the lesson for the week. He is the man that is getting up there. Everybody got eyes on, is talking, trying to hear the word of God. So he's the guy that's doing the fuckery. It's hard to say this church is still good for me.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying he's one man in a congregation of 200 people. And a lot of time, and I don't know how big, I'm just using that number. And a lot of times, if there's a pastor, there might be an associate pastor or, assistant pastor or something. So, it could be a pulpit of 5 different people, and the other men could be great men. And this one man could,
bad apple spoiled the bunch.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. They all congregate around him. Everybody in the church, everybody, not, it's not one person in the church not waiting to hear him. They ain't waiting to hear the other men. They waiting to hear him. So whatever he got to say, that's what we hanging on to. And if we talking about the head of the shit doing all the fuckery, it kind of just be like, damn, like, okay, yeah, it might be other good men, but it's a shame that it's one of them double, like, not a double standard, but one bad apple spoils the bunch. He fucked it up for y'all because now we looking at this whole entity like it's doing some fuck shit. We can't trust nobody.
And let me correct, when I said they don't represent the whole church, I don't mean their individual church. I mean the whole church, meaning all of the believers of Christ.
I knew what you was trying to say. Yeah, I knew what you was trying to say.
Okay. Yeah, like, so you're talking about 2 pastors, and I'm not saying there are only 2, unfortunately, but you're talking about 2 pastors. They don't represent the full body of Christ. So, I mean, it's very unfortunate.
And you get all these people who come out now saying, I knew something was going on over there, like you spoke to.
If you
bunch
knew,
of people who don't say nothing, who might have had an inkling, who seen him hug a kid too long,
you're just as
or
culpable.
You went in the back when everybody was leaving, and why you outside with the kids all the time, or you always watching. Like, everybody knew some shit was going on, and that's a whole nother story on how in our culture how black people want to see shit and don't say nothing because they think it's you telling or you snitching or some shit. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Prayers for the young man or men, because again, who knows how many boys are victims of this. I think they only reported one, but who knows
some
what
more
other
shit gonna come out.
yeah. So, prayers for them and whatever their future holds in terms of their healing from this. And I truly pray that it does not destroy their relationship with God. And just remembering that, again, these people are not a reflection of Christ. Talking about Christ and people doing some crazy, crazy things. There was a mom in Florida who killed her 15-month-old child, stabbed her daughter and husband, and was acquitted, with the reason being COVID psychosis. During these acts, her neighbors reported like she was screaming that Jesus is coming.
She had to baptize
COVID was trying to kill everybody. She had to baptize her family. This is the first case that we know of where COVID was used as a criminal defense.
And won. Yeah.
Well, even it won or lost. What has it been used at all?
It's never been used, and it's the first time it's used and won.
Yeah.
But she, her thing was the COVID, the pandemic. She went into a deep depression, a psychosis, the monotony of the day, not being able to go outside, all that kind of shit played a part in this. I don't know if she had mental health problems before COVID, but the screaming out that Jesus is coming, you got to baptize the family and all that kind of stuff is sounds like a mental issue, like split personality, that type of thing. But I don't know, like COVID was stressful for some people. Some people you heard across the country killed themselves. There were some people who did some crazy stuff. It just happened to be for us, it was a good year, but for a lot of people, it was a fucked up time. So I can't speak to the psychosis of being depressed that you're in the house, or being sad that you can't get a hug from people, or sad that you can't see your sister, or sad that you can't see your brother. We didn't feel that stuff. We was intertwined. We was loving on each other. We
missed our kids.
We missed our family and stuff like that. We was loving on each other and growing and talking and like doing a bunch of shit that we wasn't doing because we were working all the time. So it was cool for us, but we know for some people it was a lot to bear, especially if you had 4 and 5 kids in the house and shit like that, no school, like it was a lot for people. So and then you not working, I get it, but the first time I'm hearing about COVID psychosis, I've never heard that term before.
I haven't heard that term, and it makes me wonder to what extent, and it's one of them things that can it be proven? Because everything you said was a reality for people. I'll never forget somebody like mentioning it had been, and I'm gonna just throw a number. I don't know, remember exactly, but they said like it had been 89 days since they were able to hug a person. And this is someone who I know personally, but not married, no children. She's grown, like she's older than me. But it was like, it made me just think like, damn, like I know she, her parents live somewhere else, her grandparents live somewhere else, she has no siblings. So during that time, you working from home, everybody's being careful, staying wherever they stay because nobody wants to get sick. And I can imagine that playing on somebody's mental. Mm-hmm. But again, it's one of them things, it's not,
forget the people walking around in their house alone.
Yeah, it's not the girl I'm talking. Yeah, it's not a tangible thing where you can be like, oh, you got a rash, or oh, you got a broken bone, or oh, you got a bruise. But the mental anguish that it's causing, and that lady said she started hearing voices that was part of this psychosis. I also wonder, even though I'm not trying to like give her any she don't need my reason, she was acquitted, but I wonder if they mention at all about postpartum, because I mean her child was 15 months, mm-hmm. and I've read that postpartum depression can last up to 3 years after you've had your child. I think 3 years, if not longer, but I think it was like 3 years. So I wonder if that played a part in it at all, like or compounded with the COVID psychosis.
That's also a diagnosis, though. Also,
postpartum depression.
Yeah, like that's not just something that happens because you have a baby.
No, I know,
it
but
happens to certain women, and you have to be diagnosed. Like you go into the doctor and they tell you, okay, you have postpartum depression based on this.
But it's also if you're honest, because
if you're honest, but you just don't sit home and because your hormones are triggering and you're going through shit, you just say, oh, I got postpartum.
No, I'm not saying she said it, but she could have not been diagnosed. That's like, okay, if you're going through a depression, just because you didn't talk to a therapist.
I'm saying it's based on everybody being honest. It doesn't even matter what I'm saying if you're lying.
But what I'm saying is, if you're going through a depression, if you haven't been to see a psychologist for them to give you a diagnosis, it doesn't mean that you're not still going through depression. It just isn't documented.
Correct.
So for her, she could have been going through postpartum depression. Maybe she didn't talk to her doctor, or it's cold. I mean, the baby's 15 months, so maybe she didn't mention to the doctor, when I'm home, I'm having these bad thoughts, or I'm in bed and I let the baby cry and I don't want it to touch me. So it could not have been diagnosed.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Still,
I think what I'm trying to say is that every female that has a baby don't get postpartum.
No, that's why I said I just wonder, because of the window, the baby was 15 months. I wonder if that was part of it. Also, I recently saw a post where this lady was...
And this is a black lady we talking about too.
Yeah, nobody agreed with her, but she was talking about religious, just a call back on the church, religious psychosis. And it was a situation where she was in line waiting to go into a museum, and this lady was in front of her, had earphones on. I don't even think the lady knew she was being recorded. She probably was listening to gospel music or something, and the lady minded her business. She wasn't saying anything, making any noise. She just was in line like this, while she was waiting. Again, the lady's behind her recording, and it was something like, people don't believe that religious psychosis is a thing. We waiting in line to go in here, and she's standing here with her hands raised. And it's like, how is that religious psychosis? That's just, you don't know what that lady's going through, what song she's listening to. She raised her hand to praise God. She ain't hollering. She ain't jumping up and down. But people believe religious psychosis is a thing where people that, Jesus is coming. We got to hurry.
There's a time and place for stuff, though. And I think if you're standing in line, we're in a society, you got to be courteous of people behind you. It could have been your turn to step up, and you doing this. So I'm not going to say it's religious psychosis, but there's a time and place for stuff to do stuff. It's like when that woman was at the Vatican and singing.
She was breaking the rules. So she was wrong.
Yeah,
because there is a time and place. It's a quiet zone. There's rules. I don't care how much you want to praise God. God also wants us to follow the laws of the land. So you can't use your religion as a reason as to why you're breaking the rules, because God don't agree with what you're doing. You're doing it under the auspices that you're praising God, but God is saying follow the rules. This lady standing in line minding her business, and it was a long line, so she's waiting. And again, she could have had her hands up for 30 seconds. We went walking today, and I raised my hand just saying, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. And I made you raise your hand. Okay.
No, I get it. It could be a plethora of things.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
I wouldn't put religious psychosis on that, though.
But in this lady, I feel like this could also be a compound of things, which with all those things tied together, whether we want to say COVID psychosis, possible postpartum depression, some religious psychosis. You say you don't know if she had some mental health issues. It definitely sounded like something was going on, and maybe this exacerbated it.
And I would think a psychosis is something that has the potential to hurt you or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a religious psychosis, I would think that's bad. You are so much into religion or thinking Jesus is coming back a certain day or whoever's coming back that you might hurt yourself or you might hurt other people because you want them to believe what you believe and they not, and you mad and
it's almost like you're under a spell.
Yeah, that kind. The kind of people who can go to cults.
Exactly. You're not in your right state of mind. This psychosis has you in an alternate
it had you in a
universe.
Trance.
Yes.
It had you in a trance.
Yes.
You're so enamored by what you've been reading and looking that you're in a
and
trance.
thinking and hearing voice.
Yeah, you might have had some
You've been
vivid
thinking
dreams
about this so much.
Yep.
You're hearing voices, which is probably just your own thoughts replaying in your head because you're thinking. And not to say like I had any kind of psychosis at all, but sometimes you can delve yourself into something so much it takes over your mind. That's why I stopped watching that Nature Boy documentary, because it was so compelling. It was just making me think like.
After a while, it was compelling the first, I would say, 11 episodes that you was telling me about.
Yeah.
But after a while,
it became repetitive.
I get the gist. New people are coming. He keeps doing the same shit. It gets a little
but
worse
even
each
like
time.
you were like, okay, babe, stop talking to me about
like
this.
But
enough. It was filling my head all the time of thinking like, I can't believe this. I can't believe these people this crazy. I can't believe they fell for this. And sometimes things can get into your head so much. Now, again, I am not in any way saying that that's what happened to me, but people allow themselves to kind of be succumbed by things.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a compounding of things. Now, unfortunately, her child was one of the sacrifices. Could have been her husband and her other child. But what's crazy to me is she said she was in jail for 3.5 years during this trial. And now that the trial is over, she's looking forward to getting back home to, kind of get her life back in order with her husband. How you still got one?
Yeah, I mean.
Like, would you stay with me?
No.
That's crazy.
No, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. I think the COVID psychosis, although I never heard of it, is plausible for all the things that I said. Like, for some people, and I hate to say it like this, but weak-minded people, like not the strongest people, not the strongest-minded people, probably broke during COVID, like broke down. So, and if you're lonely, like that shit could have really, really paralyzed some people. So I get it.
Let's also add, it's one of them situations where it's your word against hers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't prove it because, again, it's not tangible in the sense that she got a bruise or she got a, you can
see, you put your hands on it and say, hey, this is psychosis.
And if she plays into it enough, let's just say if she just used that as an excuse, then she definitely, again, it's your word against hers. Mm-hmm. You can't prove that she's not telling the truth.
Mad disrespectful with her.
My fault.
Bloop shit, like you don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. 282. Rest in peace to her 15-month-old baby.
Definitely. Well, now she was 15 months.
But she was. I don't know if she's going to a mental hospital. Like there may be some monitoring that has to be done. You can't just be released out of jail. That. I mean, this is Florida. It could be. So I don't know, but I would hope that you have to be checked into a mental hospital if you're going to be acquitted for murdering your 15-month-old. I would think lots of people had COVID psychosis, but you don't get a pass from me for murdering your 15-month-old, stabbing your husband and stabbing your daughter, saying that you had to baptize the family in order for it to be okay.
Can I just say this
for
last
the voices
thing?
To calm down, you got to baptize the family. And no water. I mean, she put the people in. She put the.
She drowned the baby.
Yeah, she put the baby in water, but you stabbing people like that's not.
Let me just say this, and I ain't making no jokes at all. But baby, her lawyer needs his props because the judge was not buying this at all when this case started. Now I don't know what changed because I mean from the story, I mean. She was found innocent, so he wasn't buying it. That lawyer must have did a hell of a job between the start of the trial where the judge said absolutely not to found not guilty on all counts of everything.
Well, that's not the judge's job, that's the jury's, but you could tell he was tight when he was reading it.
So
you don't make the decision. The jury
does. Okay. I thought this was because you have. I thought you have a choice of a judge or a jury.
They did say a bench trial, right?
I thought so.
Bench trial is judge. You're right.
Yeah. So
the lawyer did some shit.
Yeah, to go from I'm not buying any of this.
They did say bench trial. Bench trial is judge.
Yeah,
that
lawyer did a hell of a job.
He was tight. He had no smile. He looked like he was mad. Grams?
Yep.
We got two. This Mona clip, Don't Call Me White Girl Mona, is going around, got into a small altercation in Delaware. This was in Delaware. A lot of people thought it was in Philly, but it was in Delaware. And she got into an altercation where it looked like to me some girl was going to beat her ass. She was at a bodega, some store or something like that. Not so much about her or whatever, but the thing is, a lot of people say you get too big to be in certain places. Have you ever felt like, not like you're too big, but you ever felt like you're somewhere you shouldn't be, and like I shouldn't come here anymore? Not because it's dangerous or you feel like I'm above it, but I kind of just outgrew this kind of stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, there's just certain, and even if not physically, there's just certain scenarios or certain confrontations or conversations that you like, when you have something to lose, you have to weigh your pros and cons. It's a risk assessment where you have to determine like, it ain't worth me being like, so there's places that I won't go because of where it is. And it's like, okay, this place may be, like, let's just say I had a nail salon that I've been going to for 15 years that was at, I'm just throwing this out there, Broad and Lehigh, wherever. And it's like, all right, I might go here and there ain't never no drama. Nothing ever happened. Like, it's all good. I get my nails and it's all well and good. But just knowing, like, the stuff that happens in the city, stuff that maybe Royal Lehigh ain't a good example, but you know what I mean.
Yes,
like, I ain't trying to get
robbed.
shot.
I ain't girl in there
exactly
setting up the salon. Like, so many things happen now that you might be aware of now that you're older, that you might just say, hey, I outgrew that, I'm not going there.
I'm not going there. Yeah.
The type of conversations. And Lord, if you go, I go to a barbershop, you go to a hair salon, so you know the kind of conversations. You might be like, no, I go to this hair salon, all they do is talk ratchet shit for 4 hours that I'm there.
I would not.
So let me go to this hair salon where they kind of talking about some shit that I can get some game from, or I can leave there and be like, hey, I learned something, not a bunch of dicks and fucking my baby daddy fighting, like all this kind of bullshit in this hair salon. So it's like, yeah, you do outgrow some place. As famous as she is, or not, because she is famous, but she ain't overly famous, do you think it's cool for her to go to a store to get hair glue, a bodega? Or do you think, hey, sis, my girlfriend, go get us some hair glue? Or do you think I'm the money, I'm the breadwinner, I should be going to the store to get hair glue at a bodega in Delaware?
I mean, again, you just have to think about the risk assessment in that you have something to lose, whether it's your career, whether it's your finances, your freedom, and you just have to think you don't want to put yourself in a scenario where something can go down. Now, watching that video, I didn't think that the lady was like about to be, for one thing, it was too much talking. And at first I thought, okay, the lady was going to swing or somebody was going to swing. And then when I seen it wasn't, it was like all this like back and forth. It didn't look like to me she was about to get beat up. And I seen people in the comments who were like, if you knew the old Mona, like they were saying they were proud of her for how far she come. Because people were like, if you knew how she was, like it would have never went down like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't necessarily feel like, okay, you go get the hair glue. I just feel like she need to have somebody else that's responsible for that. Mm-hmm. Like, not saying like a flunky or a friend. Girl, Amazon. Amazon.
No, I didn't mean it like a flunky. I'm just
I get it, but I'm just saying Amazon or something.
I can't be going to the store because I'm a notable person and somebody could try some shit.
Anything.
And again, in that video, like, I'm just being honest. In the video, the girl was saying, "You still talking to me? Something gonna happen to you. You still talking to me? Something gonna happen to me. Why is you still talking to me? Get the fuck on with your business. Go get the fuck on." And then she jumped in her face in the store and was like, "Bitch, you heard what the fuck I told you." To me, that looks like you're about to get into a fight that you don't want to. Now, I'm not saying the girl would have beat her up.
Yeah, but I'm saying that girl said that too many times. First of all, the lady looked older.
And she jumped in her face, like got all in her space. So that, again, these are little things that you're probably not picking up on. That girl got in Mona's space,
but
like
yeah, but
deep
she
in her
did
space.
A whole lot of talking and never swung. So that's what that
cool.
stop talking to me, stop talking to me, stop talking to me.
And that was her store, I think.
The lady bodega?
Yeah, I think that was her store, because she shut the door and she didn't want her to come in, and I think she put some money on the counter, something like that. Some bullshit happened. But yeah. So
either way, I just feel like yeah, there are some situations like now there may be some scenarios where you can't say I'm not going to the hood. Like I remember when Cardi B had put up showed like a picture of her in the projects visiting her grandma because her grandma refused to move. So if my grandmother was still alive, I'm going to North Philly to see my grandmother and my grandfather if they were still living there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there are some scenarios where you can't say not to go if people that you really love and you have to see them.
I don't think so.
If Nana was alive, you wouldn't be on Bamber Street at least once a month?
I'd send a car for Nana to bring her over here. I wouldn't be on Bamber Street because if I'm a high status person and I have money and the way people are acting out here, kidnappings and shit like that, I'm putting my life, myself at risk.
Well, no, I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about if you were famous. I'm talking about you.
Me now?
Yeah.
Yes, I would be on Bamber Street.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about if we were famous or Mona specifically, but I'm saying there are some situations.
But there is a difference when you have notoriety, and I think that's what we're speaking to. If you
have
notoriety, should you still go to the hood?
No, what I'm saying is going to the hood to like see your grandmom or, you know, God, if your parents live there and they don't want to move, is different than going to the bodega.
It is.
So different. Yeah, I'm saying yeah.
I don't think you should do either one.
Okay,
if you're a person of notoriety, you or me, yes. But we're speaking to the clip. We're talking about a person of notoriety. If you're of notoriety,
I know, but you asked me, did I feel like I was too big or, you know, not too big, but I've outgrown spaces. So that's why I'm saying for myself, yeah, it's certain things that I really don't have anything to go to North Philly for. But if my grandmother was alive, I would be in North Philly to see her when I wanted to see her. So that's what I'm saying. I'm speaking.
Yeah, okay, I would too.
Yeah,
I would.
But to your point with now again, yes, your family, I get, but you have those grandparents that, and I say grandparents too because it's that older generation where they might be like, I ain't getting in this car with this strange man.
They ain't gonna move. Then Nana, I'm gonna come pick you up too. I'll be in the back seat, but we going to brunch. We going to go do something. We're gonna go hang out for 4 or 5 hours, and I'll drop you back off. But for me to come down here, understand your grandson is put at risk. I can't be doing that. Just hanging out here.
Or you have security.
Gonna have to meet me halfway with this
I'm
shit
sure.
sometime.
Well, I won't say I'm sure, but I would think Cardi B wasn't, you know, on the 34th floor in the high-rise projects by herself. No. I would think security and stuff. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. In those situations, and who knows, her abuela might be like, no, like I don't want to. Or you got some nanas that might, you know, if you live wherever, a 2-hour drive from the Bronx, it might be like, I don't want to go get in a car for that long.
I hear
so you gotta do what you gotta do, but that don't mean you gotta be at the bodega. That don't mean you gotta be at the Chinese store. But so there.
But if you at grandma's and you hanging out with grandma 4 or 5 hours, what's to say you don't run to the bodega for something?
Nah, you send your little cousin down there to go. You don't
no,
go.
I think you should. But I'm saying if you sitting there with that much comfortability, saying you got to do what you got to do, you might feel like, okay, I can run down to the corner.
But again, you're at grandmom's with security. If you running down to the corner, you need to have security. And I'm not saying Mona's at the level where she needs to walk around with security. However, she is reaching new levels. And like they say, with new levels come new devils. And maybe not even intentionally, but unfortunately it could be intentionally that people may try to do you harm because they're envious of where you are. They just want to challenge you to go viral. They want to see, you know, if you really still about that life. Like it could be a myriad of reasons, but the way to avoid that is to do your best not to put yourself in that situation.
Mona can't be outside with a dirty bodysuit on. She can't be outside at the bodega, and she can't be outside with one sock on. You just can't. I don't give a fuck how hood you are and where you come from. If you get to a certain level, you're not looking down on people. You're not bigger than people, but you got to carry yourself as if you like a person once said. You carry yourself like where you want to go, not where you are. Like, you know, but a person was talking about that as a job. Like, you carry yourself like the job you want, not like the job you have. So she should carry herself like where she talks about she wants to go, not where she is. And you shouldn't be outside with one sock on about the fight in a bodega, where it's like, you shouldn't even be there.
But I respect Mona because she was trying her best
She
not
was,
to fight.
and I heard
She
tell the
was
girl,
very
if I did that to you, I
apologetic.
apologize. If I did that to you, I apologize. So yeah, I saw that, a lot of people saying, "Oh, Mona would have bust her ass," and you know, she came a long way. I give her props for that.
She was very. It was no.
Because she asked the girl, "What did I do to you?" And the girl said, "You bumped me when you put the money on the counter." And then she said, "If I did that, I'm sorry." So yeah, I mean, it don't get no more clearer than that. So I get it.
Next round.
Brandon Marshall was making his kid run at 2:00 in the morning. This is one of those parenting issues. You go too far. His kid wasn't listening. He didn't want to put his hands on him, so he made his kid wake up and run at 2:00 in the morning, 2 miles. A lot of people said this was rough. It's bad parenting. It's no good. A lot of people said it's okay parenting, just don't put it on the internet. I'm a firm believer in 2026, and this is an unpopular opinion, that kids still should get beatings. I don't know what happened to you not being able to spank your kid. I just don't. Child abuse, I get that. The abusive beatings that we got with buckles and irons and stitching cords and hitting the head and face, yes, that shit is wrong and it's abusive. Those beatings were wrong. But spankings, just on the butt, just on the ass whipping, it's correction for kids when they're young, so they know not to cross the line when they get older. So I believe in spankings. I don't believe in this making your kid run at 2:00 in the morning shit, because he ain't going to be running. He's going to be like shuffling and walking like his kid was. You're not going to be out there doing full sprints like you want him to do, because it's a punishment. I'm not on board with that, with the go stand in the corner, hold books, all that kind of shit. You get a spanking, it's over with.
I'm on both sides of the fence. I don't think spankings, I'm not against spankings, but I don't think spankings work for all kids. And I think you have to find what works for your child. Some kids, you can holler at them and that is enough. Like if they have a relationship with their parents and they know that their mom and or dad is upset with them, that's enough to deter their behavior, because they respect them so much they don't want to disappoint them. Like our niece Kenzie, that is my sister's shadow. If she thinks my sister is upset with her tears start to fall, because she doesn't want to disappoint my sister.
But what emotion is she feeling in that moment? It's shame.
Yeah, it's shame, it's sadness. She disappointed her mom. So again, she don't need to be spanked, like, because a good talking to, she got it together, because she don't want to make you upset. Aubrey, the same way. She's never had hands put on her, and Aubrey has never given my sister any trouble, and she's 13. So, I mean, Mackenzie's 10, Aubrey's 13. Madison, she was a different child. She needed hands. She needed to be gripped up. She got herself together eventually, but she needed to be gripped up. My oldest nephew, he needed to be gripped up for a small period of time, and he got himself together. So, again, I think, parenting from a non-parent.
And let me just put on the record, I don't mean all kids should get beat.
No,
I meant the kids who supposed,
because
you're breaking it down, and I'm like, yeah, this is all true. Like, if you don't need to beat Mackenzie, then don't beat her.
No, but what I'm saying is, when like, okay, you don't know that a kid doesn't need to be beat until you prove. I think beating shouldn't be your first course of action.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you realize, okay, I tried to talk to you and that didn't work, or I tried to do this, I'm okay with the, do 100 jumping jacks. Or the guy that made his son do the Drew Hill. Yeah. Like, tell me, like, I'm okay with all that until it doesn't work, and then we gotta.
Did you see the kid?
You think it's one way, but it's the other way.
Okay, so did you see the kid who lied about the phone?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that? A kid of age being like 16 years old that'll stand 2 feet away from you and lie like that, and got the damn phone in his pocket, not even hidden anywhere.
His chest should have been caved in.
So he should have had hands put on him.
You lied.
You had ample opportunity to tell the truth and tell the truth and tell the truth, and you just fucking lied.
Because that
standing
kind of
here
lying,
with the evidence.
That kind of lying straight to my face, where it's like, I'm almost thinking like, no shade to anyone, no offense. Like, are you mentally challenged? Because how else did you think this scenario was going to play out? Did you not think I was going to check your pockets? So, I mean, again, parenting isn't a monolith. Children aren't a monolith.
Right.
You can have 5 kids in the house and end up with a doctor, a crackhead, an accountant, a murderer, and an angel.
If you holler at your kid and she falls apart like Mackenzie, and okay, God, Jesus Christ, like, all right, like, this is a kid I don't need to beat. Like, okay, I get it. My words are going to affect you. You see that, you know that. But for the kids that need to be beat, they should be beat.
Or for the kids that you can make them run 2 miles and that gets them in shape, I'm okay with that too. Now, what I'm not okay with is, not that I'm not okay with it, I think it's corny it's not about the embarrassment and humiliation and all that, because I mean, it's a lot of worse things that can be shown online. So I don't think like the kid is going to be so like devastated and like this is going to linger with him for life because he was being made to run.
Yeah, I hate that abolitionist
I just think that it's corny. But I don't feel like it's
the same.
Even I think it was corny, like with the dad recording it with the boy lying about the phone. Why do we need to see that?
That was the mom. But
that was the dad.
That was the mom recording.
Oh no, but I mean the dad probably said record this or whatever. I'm sorry. I'm about to say that was a man talking. I thought you were saying it was a mom talking to him. But all I'm saying is, I think that part is corny. Handle your kids how you gonna handle your kids. When it comes to kids, I feel like if you want to show us like funny stuff that kids do or something, or weird stuff that kids do, but fussing at your kids, beating your kids, like punishing them, and like, I don't need to see that.
No, I don't need to see it either.
I don't think it should be recorded.
Again, I don't ever want to take nothing away from you, like, because you're not a parent, but living with kids and you seeing them react day after day after day after day, the little dumb shit they do, the way they lie to you, manipulate you, like, you would want to kill one of them. Like,
I'm sure.
I know you, like, it's different. It, like, you would think, like you said, are you mentally challenged, or you like, or you just don't, you think I'm this dumb or something like that? Like, kids try to do crazy shit where I just think the kid that needs to be beat should be spanked, and I think that helps with the keeping them in line.
I think so, but again, I'm not opposed to making a kid.
But is the kid going to run? He's not going to run. If you say, okay, I'm going to wake him up tonight at 2:30. That means you got to get up at 2:30 in the morning, take this motherfucker outside and say run. He not going to run like you want him to run. He going to be doing this shit the whole time, and you going to be hollering like him saying, run. This what you going to do when you don't listen. Run. But he not going to get out there and run as if it's daytime.
He's not going to be sprinting like it's daytime, but it's still an inconvenience. And sometimes as parents, you got to be inconvenienced for the sake of your kid. And if that means you got to be up at 2:30, now the fact that he did it at 2:30 in the morning, maybe that was unnecessary. It was another dad who did something similar. I seen one time in New York. Now it was a girl. He just took her to the basketball court and made her do what do you call it, suicides, and made it. And it was dark outside. I don't know what time, but she had a smart mouth and blah 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 blah. And he, kind of did the same thing. And she ended up, crying, I'm sorry for being disrespectful. I won't do it anymore. I mean, I don't feel like those things need to be recorded. Handle your business with your child. I don't think anything is wrong with it. But if it does prove not to work, I also don't think there's nothing wrong with, putting hands upon them.
So what do you think about the parent who says nowadays in 2026, the at-home talking to you doesn't work? The shit that I tell you in the house doesn't work, you disregard, because all you care about is the internet. All you care about is that world of your friends and what y'all see and what y'all do. If it ain't on the internet, it didn't happen. So that's why I take the position of recording this and putting this on the internet, so your friends can see you being humiliated a little bit, and now you might get some straightening because they gonna make fun of you.
To be honest, at 10 years old, they shouldn't even really be on the internet. So I feel like this group of friends that's on it, I think that's young.
It goes back to where our moms used, well, not all moms, but back in the day, my mom would say, wherever you act up at, that's where I'm going to straighten you up at. So if you in the store in Kmart, you act a fool, I'm going to smack you in here in Kmart. I'm not going to wait till we get home. Like, that's how my mind was. If we in a grocery store and you talking out your side of your mouth, I'm gonna smack you in Thriftway, not wait till you get home.
I get that, but I mean, again, I just feel like, yeah, I mean, I remember as a little girl was being fresh online and doing, I forget what she was doing, and her mom like whooped her ass on the computer. She was on live or something. Mm-hmm. I also feel like parents now, not the running situation, because I don't think that was abusive. Parents also need to make sure that in some states, in some areas, even though I don't have a problem with it, putting your hands on your child could be considered abuse. And there are some people online who will call child services on you. So you doing it for the sake of content, or for maybe the real sake of teaching your child a lesson, and it end up backfiring because now here's video evidence because you done showed the world, and now here come the people at your door. We need to talk to you. It's a social worker, and then you got these people really in your business all because you wanted to make content.
So is it a law? Let's get asking. This might be a dumb question. Is there a law, a federal law, or is it a state law from state to state that you cannot spank your kids anymore?
I'm not
spanking. I know you can't abuse them. I know you can't do shit like, but you can't spank a kid no more.
I'm not sure.
On the ass.
I don't know. I mean, I think it varies from state to state.
If a parent lays the kid down on the bed and gives him 10 on the ass with the belt, you going to jail for that?
It's not federal. I think it varies from state to state. I think in some states it may be a law that says you can't, but it's not a federal thing.
That's crazy. A spanking is a spanking up. Now, if you beating your kid up, you should be locked up. But a spanking is a spanking.
Yeah. Like, we didn't grow. We got spankings. I can say in my lifetime, I can count on maybe 1.5 hands, and that might be a stretch. Because I was the type of kid, put me on punishment for 300,000 days.
Just don't hit me.
Do not hit me.
If you had a son and he was out in the store.
Well, let me finish. My youngest sister, she might have got, I'm going to say, not even one whole hand. Like, she was like Mackenzie, but probably like she ain't want no trouble. She did not get in trouble. My middle sister, she got spanked a lot. Like, and she was one of them kids where it was like, is this helping? Like, because she's doing the same thing. Like, I'm talking about, it was times she might have got spankings like 3-4 times a week, like throughout the school year. And it was, and I don't want to go too deep into it. Like, she does feel that she was abused, and she has the right to feel that way, because she would have marks and stuff on her that was not cool.
Yeah, those kind of beatings is, we got to wrap up.
Yeah.
Those kind of beatings are bad.
But we were spanked. We never got, like, punched or hit with objects. If you have a kid and you're out and your kid is roughhoused and not listening, won't get no order, you pick his hand up and whack on the ass 5-6 times. You gonna go to jail for that? Again, I think it depends on where you are. If people call somebody and telling you, depending on where you are, you might.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Act 2 the podcast, episode 282, closing out. Your boy International Walk.
Your girl Taj, the co-host with the mostest. What was that?
Me.
Yeah.
You man, you woman. Y'all know what it is by now. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.